Every now and then a story comes along that just feels so perfectly modern. This is definitely one of those. We're going to break down this short, super creepy tale that taps right into our anxieties about technology. How it takes the very things that are supposed to keep us safe and turns them into something absolutely terrifying. So yeah, let's dive in. So right from the jump, the story sets up this really simple, almost cozy idea. If you're a night watchman, silence is your best friend. It means everything's okay. And that sets this perfect baseline of calm, right? A predictable, quiet world that you just know is about to be shattered. The real horror here isn't some loud jump scare. It's how that perfect, sterile silence gets slowly, creepily violated. All right, so let's set the scene. First up, we meet our main guy and get a feel for his, well, pretty boring world. This is the foundation, the normal everyday life that's about to get turned completely upside down. Okay, so this is our protagonist, Chen Yu. And his job? It's the definition of monotonous. He's a night manager in this huge warehouse, surrounded by the cold, hard logic of technology. We're talking automated machines, data logs, security feeds, you get the picture. It's a world where everything should be explainable, right? Every event should leave a trace. The writer does this on purpose, grounding us in this super predictable reality, right before they tear it all apart. And I love this. The story uses time with such precision. It basically turns the whole thing into a ticking clock. At 3:55 a.m., Chen Yu's just having his coffee. Everything's quiet, normal. Then, just a few minutes later at 3:58, the first little crack in reality shows up. And that question mark at 4:03 a.m., oh yeah, that's where all this dread is heading. That's our destination. Okay, so now we get to the inciting incident. This is that first moment where the normal, ordinary world starts to, well, fray at the edges. And it all starts with a digital glitch that just should not be possible. Just look at this. It's insane. In one single second, a box just disappears. And get this, not from the top of the stack, which would be weird enough, but from the middle. It completely defies physics. And that's the real horror, isn't it? It's an impossible event, and it's captured and verified by the very technology that's supposed to make sense of everything. So, of course, this is the question screaming in Chen Yu's head. His logical brain is just racing, trying to find an explanation. Okay, it's got to be camera lag, a visual glitch, something simple. But then there's that deeper gut feeling just screaming that something is very wrong. He's totally trapped between what his brain knows is possible and what his gut is telling him is happening. And this is the kicker. He does exactly what any of us would do, right? He checks the data, he goes to the logs. But the technology that's supposed to have all the answers, it just gives him more questions. The security logs? Blank. The footage frame by frame? It's just there one frame, gone the next. The system he trusts, the one that's supposed to be infallible, has just confirmed that the impossible actually happened. So, while he's trying to figure out this whole disappearing box thing, Chen Yu stumbles onto something, well, something much, much worse. Let's take a look at what he finds in a totally different part of the warehouse. So his attention gets pulled to a different monitor for a section called Zone B. Now, this area is supposed to be totally empty, idle. And at first, it just looks like static, video noise, maybe a weird shadow. But the longer he stares at it, this horrible feeling starts to creep in. That's not a glitch. There's something in the feed. And this right here is just such a genius horror concept. The thing he's seeing, it isn't hiding in the shadows. It is the shadow. It's just this distorted, featureless black outline. It doesn't have a face, it doesn't have a form you can even really process. And that makes it so much more terrifying, because, seriously, how do you fight a shadow? And this is where the horror shifts from just something scary on a screen to something deeply psychological. It's that chilling realization that this thing knows he's there. It's watching him through the camera. That feeling of being seen by something completely unnatural, man, that's way scarier than any monster you can actually see. All right, here we go. This is the big turning point. It's that aha moment, but, the most terrifying aha moment ever. The two weird things, the glitchy box and the creepy shadow, are about to click together. This is where we go from weird tech problem to, oh no, this is definitely supernatural. And what happens next is just bone-chilling, because it shows this thing is smart. It has a purpose. This isn't some random ghost in the machine. First, the shadow stretches, reaching up to the ceiling. Then it starts drawing something on the wall in Zone B. And what does it draw? The exact shape of the box that vanished from Zone A. It's basically saying, yeah, that was me. This isn't just happening, it's being done to him. It's playing with him. So now that he knows this, his mind is racing. He rewinds the original footage from Zone A, the one with the box, and he looks closer. And there it is. For just one single blurry frame, he sees it. A silhouette, just like the one in Zone B, literally pulling the box out of the stack. And that is the absolute horrifying confirmation. This thing isn't just a digital ghost. It can actually interact with the real world. And that brings us right to the climax. Remember that 4:03 a.m. question mark on the timeline? Well, we're here. The threat is no longer on the screen. It's broken through. It's in his reality now. And then, bam, all at once, every single screen just dies. Pure static. In an instant, his eyes and ears on the warehouse are gone. He's completely blind, plunged into silence. The very tech that was supposed to protect him has just become the walls of his own tomb. And then, he hears something. But it's not coming through the speakers. It's real. It's in the room with him, or at least right outside his office door. A slow, scraping sound, like metal on concrete. The entity isn't in Zone A or Zone B anymore. It's here. So he forces himself to look up toward the glass wall of his office. And that's when he sees them. Two hands, impossibly pale, with these long, thin nails. And they're just pressing against the glass. The shadow from the screen, the digital ghost, it's real. It's flesh and bone. And it's right there in front of him. The clock on the wall ticks over. 4:03 a.m. And then a dry, raspy voice whispers, not from outside, but right in his ear. 4:03，我找到了你。4:03, I found you. And in that single second, everything clicks into place with this horrifying clarity. None of this was random. The glitches, the shadow, the entity wasn't just watching him. It was hunting him. And the clock wasn't just telling time. It was a countdown. And that's really the question this whole story leaves you chewing on, isn't it? In a world where we're surrounded by surveillance, where we build these systems of cameras and sensors to feel safe, to watch over all the empty spaces, what happens when one day something from inside the static, something you can't possibly explain, starts watching you back?